treasure hunting in the sharky waters on the World Wide Web. Your pirate crew is AK. Captain of the chat and Ola Vea wearing a bicorn hat befitting a dev pirate. In the top corner, Pirate Queen Raae and Pirate Princess Lillian.
Good morning to the European developers. At least it's still morning in my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you been up for hours, AK?
No. As you can see, my hair is still wet. I barely made it to the stream.
Well, that makes more of us. Yeah, so let's share our little TL draw.
I have made a little bit of we're going to do what, why, and how, but I didn't write that here. I just wrote the how.
Whoa, you just wrote the how.
Because I've been trying to make this stuff work, and honestly, it's super easy, but honestly, it didn't work. I couldn't make it work.
Okay, so can we go through what and why then? Because obviously it's been
Yes. I'll say
Yes.
what would be RSS feed.
Yes. So the what is to generate RSS feed from the information we have about a playlist that somebody has created in the database. But today we're just going to do a proof of concept and see if we can make it work. So for new people, we are going to make a Mixpod that lets you select podcast episodes from different podcasts and make it into one playlist or Mixpod. And then that will kind of be a new podcast feed. And the way podcasts are distributed around the interwebs is that you have an RSS feed, an XML, RSS XML with all the information about the episodes and the name of the podcast and the cover photo and all of that. So we want to create one of those ourselves, and we're using Astro. So the what is creating RSS feeds for a specific playlist. Yes. And the why, I guess I talked about the why. And then we have the how, and I can present now because I got that photo onto our screen. So let's add to stage. There we go. So this is our TL draw diagram of everything we're doing. Check the description and you will have a link where you can follow along. So yeah, proof of concept generating RSS feed for Mixpod playlist. It's our task. And then Ola's been playing around with it. So we'll have to install the Astro RSS. We're going to, hopefully, I think the title of this video or stream is Smooth Sailing or Stormy Waters. We'll see if we can just get there. But so we're thinking we'll need to install the Astro RSS package. Then we'll need to create a file that we'll do our work in. We'll create a function, I guess, for a GET request to get the RSS stream. And then my plan that I told Ola, I was like, let's just make a fake DB, just like make an object or an array of playlist objects instead of having to select a DB, a database at this point. What's the ID step, Ola? Oh, yeah, it's getting the ID from the URL.
Yeah.
I love that you clearly made a mistake by number 5 and you had to cover it all.
You want to know what I did?
I want to know what was in the middle.
Yeah, I have it here somewhere. Because when you write on these sticky notes,
and then we're creating an XML.
You have to take a knife and cut out what you wrote, or else you can see it through. So somewhere here I have a cutout. Where is my cutout? Okay, I can't find it, but no. I basically wrote the 5. I mirrored the 5 so that it, I could maybe have used it and nobody would have noticed, but yeah.
You wrote the 5 the wrong way around?
We're trying to keep up with the details here, aren't we? Yeah, details.
So I dropped some things on the map here, and that is like an example RSS feed. So if we go to that, this is, but this now I remember. So Transistor makes the RSS feed look pretty. We don't need that. We need to like see it how it is. I don't know if we can though.
You can always make a curl request, I suppose, for that.
Yes, that is true. I was just hoping maybe we could just see view source, inspect view page source. Here we go.
yeah.
Here it is. So it's a, I mean, this looks, there's so much information in here. And why I'm like doing Transistor as an example is that at least I know that they have really good RSS feeds that work in all the podcast players. So we kind of want to mirror something like this. And then another thought I had is, so this is kind of the information that will override the top part here. Is it's a channel. This is kind of the information about, I'm going to bump this up. This is the information about the podcast, which in our case will kind of be the playlist. And then underneath it's the items. And you can see there's quite a lot on each item. But I am wondering, and that is one thing we need to figure out in this proof of concept, is when somebody picks a RSS feed item from another podcast, could we just save this whole item as a blob and use it instead of having to kind of recreate every entry again? That's something I've been thinking about, but let's just start from the top.
Do you think there's going to be a lot of variation between different kinds of podcasts? And kinds of streams, so that it's going to be hard to like.
Yeah.
I think because I've heard.
But
yeah, I'm a little unsure because like there is, I mean, RSS feeds are a very like loose standard. And you can see here that you have like additional things that iTunes wants. So iTunes is kind of make their standards, and then other podcast players kind of are expecting the same things that iTunes are expecting. But you can see here it's iTunes episode and podcast episode. So I'm like a little bit afraid if we want to start recreating all of this, or if we just want to save whatever the original feed had, just like save the whole item and then use that in the new feed.
Okay.
Yeah. Or we could say like, oh, we'll grab the URL for the audio. Where's the audio again? The audio is, where's the audio? Link to the audio. This is the share link. Where's the audio link? Oh, here it is. Enclosure URL. This is the link to the actual audio. So we could like kind of save that. We could save the author. We could save some of these things and then recreate it. But I think I'm not sure as of now. But that's like one thing we need to think about. So let's go back to add an RSS feed. So we'll need to install our Astro.js RSS. What I'm wondering is what's underneath this, because I know that Gastro. That's Gatsby. That's Gatsby plus Astro. I remember, Gatsby also had like their own like RSS package. So I'm wondering if they're using the same package under the hood. Can we see that? Let's see.
Holy moly.
Where do we see what packages are dependencies? Fast XML parser, Clear. Interesting. What's Clear? Format. No, that's formatting. That's something weird. Validate XML, parse XML, or build XML. Okay, so they're using this fast XML parser under the hood, because I think that's going to be interesting, because there's probably some things that we kind of have to hack around, I'm thinking. But let's start. So where were we? There, add an RSS feed. So just let's install. Probably should have installed before the stream though, but I didn't. Let's see if this is going to break. I have that new MacBook Air now, so in the old, that was fast. Yeah. With my old laptop. Where is my old laptop? Where is it though? Oh, I put it in the other office as like a decoration. The old laptop just melted. So, and then it says create a file in source pages with the name of your choice and the extension XML.js. So I think that means that we want to output an XML file, but we're going to create it using JavaScript. To use this output URL for a feed, some common RSS feed URL names, feed RSS. So what we want, we're going to start with this, but what we want later that Ola had there in step 5 is that we want to grab the ID of the playlist from the URL and then use that ID. But let's just start with making like a hard-coded RSS feed. So we'll just do this, RSS XML JS as a start. So pages, new file. Okay. The example file below will create an RSS feed at site RSS XML, import RSS helper from the Astro package. Let's not read, let's just copy paste and we're good to go.
Yes. Yes.
So what is happening here? We are creating a get endpoint, I guess. We're creating a get endpoint that gets some kind of context object. And then we are creating a hard-coded RSS feed that's called BuzzBlog. So let's just call it like Mixpod playlist. And description, and then site, context, site. Okay, so this context object is probably coming from this where's the config? Not this config. There's somewhere where we like put the site and everything. Where is that in Astro again?
This here. This is where you put the site.
Is it in here?
Yeah, in there. You just write site under adapter.
Oh, okay. Yes, we haven't put that in yet. So I think that's where that's coming from. But
yes.
But I think the site is supposed to be like the URL of the playlist. If we look
No, it's not. It's going to be the URL of your site.
Yeah, but I think that is if you're creating. Yeah, but I think that is when you're creating an RSS feed of the posts on your site. Then that should be the site.
Okay.
Sorry, but like here, I think. But maybe. But I think this one they have a generator. They have something called a generator, and it's transistor. So I think in our case, we want the generator to be Mixpod, and then the link to be the link to the playlist site. So let's just comment that out. An array of an item in output XML. See generating item section of example using content collection and glob import. But let's just start with this one. And I think that we can't see it when we're in dev mode. So I think we need to do build and preview. So if we do build and then npm run preview, do you think we're going to see the like a built version of this? No. Okay, the Astro netlify function adapter does not support the preview command. Is there like a serve?
But what should preview do? If you build it, start it, Astro Dev.
Oh, maybe it's start. Yeah, well, I think in dev mode it's not going to show us the RSS feed because RSS is only generated when it's built. Or
but didn't it say preview?
No, it's yeah. I'm sorry. This is me just thinking in Gatsby because in Gatsby they only build the RSS feed when you kind of do a proper build. But here it looks like they're building the RSS feed even in dev mode. So that was just me having some wrong assumptions. Invalid or missing option. Site is required. Okay, so let's just do a https://example.com. Oh, look at that! We have an RSS feed.
Wow, that was quick.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
So the site goes into link in XML, and I wonder what that is. I'm guessing like it ends up as an href or something.
Yeah, I think if you look at the example we're working on, I think link, wasn't it link?
Yeah, there is one link. Sorry, if you go
Yeah,
back.
link, and
There was-
that's slowandsteadypodcast.com. So that's for this case, this is the
Yeah.
Slow and Steady podcast that I co-host with Benedict, and we have a URL for only our podcast, even though it's hosted on Transistor. So I think the link is to kind of the whatever is kind of the homepage of the podcast. Would make
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Great. Yes.
Cool. Okay, so let's create. What was the next step? Let's go and look. Yeah, so that was the function part. We created a function that is named get, and I'm then assuming that Astro will make that into the get endpoint. So when we go to this address with a get, we execute whatever's in this function, and we could probably add a post function in here, but you would never post to an XML, but you probably could add a post function in here.
But you're under pages. Would that work? Like, would that just make an API if it's under pages, but it has like XML.js or something? I don't know. Like,
I think if we just made like a test JS, like a test rename, if we did the test JS and we did the same thing, and we just return hello.
how does it know what path to make it under?
I think this will then become
thinking
/test, and if we do a get call
Oh,
towards
I see.
/test,
Okay.
let's say if we do localhost and then we do test, type our, it needs to be an instance of buffer, array buffer, and array like object. Okay, so we need to return something proper, like message. Ooh. Let's see if that works. Now we're just on a tangent here. Yeah, we're doing something wrong, but I think that's the case, that you would like return.
Can't you just to return RSS?
Well, now we were just testing something that is not an RSS feed. We were just trying to like do this outside. Astro endpoints. We're on a tangent.
No.
Oh, we need to do new response. Okay, so
there you go.
yeah. So if
It
we
was
did that,
a useful tangent then.
it was useful. So if we did that and then we went to our test endpoint, yeah, look at that. We did, and then I'm guessing then we can just do export and then do post if we need a post request, and then we have a post endpoint.
Yeah,
that's pretty beautiful.
That is pretty sick.
That is, yeah, that's good. Okay, let's delete tests and get back to the scheduled programming.
Yes.
Okay, so
At
let's
least
fake
you
a
need to return a
DB.
response, right? Or would RSS wrap a response? Because in here you say you return RSS.
Yes, I'm guessing in. Sorry.
Yeah, so is RSS like wrapping a response?
I think so.
Okay.
I am guessing that the RSS,
because it worked.
Because we're importing RSS from the package.
Yeah.
and it's probably doing a lot of this stuff for us, like making this a proper response, and all we need to do is kind of give it its data. So let's continue reading, because what we want now is generating items. So the item fields accept a list of RSS feed objects, each with the required link, title, and pub date, blah, 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 blah. You can generate this array from a content collection schema or by using glob imports. And I'm thinking that we are not doing a content collection schema because we'll be talking to the database. So let's just start by making a fake. I'm thinking like, let's just make a fake DB, which will be an array of playlists. So playlist 1, or maybe it can be a map of playlists, because then we don't have to like find stuff and stuff. So playlist, the very interesting name of playlist 1 will be playlist 1, and it will have a lovely description. A lovely description. I can't even write it. And then we'll do playlist 2, which is playlist 2, and it will have an awful.
No.
I can't spell. What is this? Well, anyway. So what we kind of want to do now is that, okay, let's say we land on playlist 1 RSS feed. We want the information from this object. And if we land on playlist 2, we want to be on this object.
Yes, the ID.
Yeah. And then I'm wondering how to do that. And I'm thinking
So how
we
do you
should
build an RSS effectively, right? Using the
Mhm.
RSS package they've imported.
Yeah, well, first I'm thinking like, okay, so we're here and we're not going to RSS XML, which is kind of for the whole site, but we're going to playlist 1 RSS. Like
But you spelled
RSS.
it wrong. The first one.
XML, I mean.
Playlists. You put playlists instead of playlists.
Okay, well, let's say if I want to kind of do playlist 1 there. And then if I go to the index page, I want like a nice page. We're not making that one now. And then if I don't go to the index page, if I go to RSS XML, then I want the information for the playlist 1. So then we need to have some kind of dynamic way of like grabbing this ID. And I think Astro has the same concept as Gatsby had, where we can do playlist ID in like brackets. And then if we move... And then if we move what we had into that, then maybe this context thing has the playlist ID. For reference, I have not tested this. So let's see. If you now...
I think you have SXML instead of XML in your URL, in your browser.
Oh, I do. Thank you very much. Okay, let's see what we have in context. Param site.
You don't have to like wrap the context, because like passing context in Next.js is a nightmare.
Param's playlist ID.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
This,
yeah.
look at that.
That's
so,
right.
The playlist ID is on context params playlist ID. So that means we could get the params like so, and then const playlist ID.
Oh,
playlist.
I didn't do this.
No, this is where you stopped. So let's get the playlist, and then that would be db params playlist ID, and then we should have the playlist we are on, either 1 or 2, and then we could do playlist title and playlist description.
Yes, I like it.
And then we'll figure out how to do this one, because this should then be the kind of the index. Okay, I'm going to think about that afterwards. So now, playlist 1, and then if we go to
and a lovely description.
And an awful description.
Yeah.
Tom Eric is in the chat, by the way, Ola.
What?
What?
No way, Tom Erik Stöver. Can't see him. Where is he? On the Twitter then, maybe?
He's on the Twitter.
Are you on the Twitter, Tom Erik Stöver?
He's on the Twitter. Look at that. This is one of our old friends, AK.
Okay, I just have to say something. Okay, Tom Erik. No, why did you take him away?
I'm sorry. Now we're fighting.
Wow, he had a haircut.
Well,
you had a haircut, Tom Erik Stöver. That's
we don't know if that's how he looks right now.
Looking sharp there. Looking sharp. Of course, that's how it looks. Can you see the picture?
Pretty cool. Because then our site would actually be our site that we need to add, and then the playlist ID.
Or the X.
Okay, I am loving this. So now it's the items. So how can we go about making items? So let's do items. And what would be interesting to see if we could just do a blob of it, like just copy paste one of these items and see if that works.
Mhm.
But then I guess we need to parse it in some way because we can't just save it as a.
I mean, it is just text, but if you parse it, then you can do things on it, right?
Yeah, because I think what would be the assumption is that we'd have something like this. We have the title. Ooh, now my Copilot is going crazy. And I can't hear you. My headphones died.
Because it was totally secret. You weren't supposed to hear that.
Yeah, there are.
Turn you on. I need to find the electricity for my headphones because I can't hear you.
You can't hear us? But I just muted myself. That's why you can't hear anybody. Okay, then. I AK, I was out writing for a second, and I can't do two things. So what are you guys doing now?
We are, well, Benedicta is searching for her headphones.
I can hear you now. Can you hear yourself? Is there an echo now, or is it okay?
No echo. No.
There's no echo.
There is echo.
There isn't. There isn't.
There is.
This is not an echo. I'm just repeating things.
Okay, because then I'm just gonna have you on speaker because I'm not gonna find it. Yeah. So what I was saying is that the assumption would be that we'd have like item records for each item, each podcast episode, and then we would map through them here in items and generate the title and what were the things we had to have, link, title, and pub date. But it would be interesting if we could just dump the whole XML in there. So I'm going to try to do that for one and see if that could work, because I think that could be good for.
I wonder if for RSS you need to have a specific format, because I reckon, I don't know that much about XML, but I reckon XML for emails is going to be different to XML for RSS feeds, and I wonder if there has to be some specific things for RSS feeds players to be able to play things.
Yeah, I think the ones that are kind of required, that are absolutely required, is this enclosure URL, which is the link to the audio, and then obviously the title and the description, but then iTunes wants its title in iTunes :titles. So that's what I'm thinking, if we can just save it like this, and then maybe we can parse this item and then put it into the item array. But I'm guessing this function takes JavaScript, makes it into XML. But now I'm thinking we have XML and I just wanted to stay as XML, but how would that work? And I think this is where kind of we are coming off.
So you want to parse XML that you're going to get from somewhere else into JS, because in here, if you have generating, do you also have parsing in this wonderful library that just does the job?
Yeah, so that's, since they're using this fast XML parser under the hood, maybe we can use it under the hood too.
Yeah.
But what I would love is to just pass, instead of passing JavaScript.
We don't have the function on the RSS library. That would be okay.
So I'm like, what would be great if I could just dump XML into this items thing here instead of doing
both things here.
Instead of doing XML is the future. But let's have a look at this fast XML parser, because my thinking now is that, okay, we'll have the blob of XML that we kind of save. When somebody picks an episode, we'll just save the whole HTML for that episode.
XML is the future.
For the full XML of an episode in the DB, and then we'll need to parse it into a JSON object so that so that the Astro RSS package can parse it into XML again. And so
Because also at the minute we're only thinking about. Yeah, that's fine. Sorry, okay. I'm not going to complicate. I was just thinking about like actually picking episodes, but at the minute, let's just pass the whole thing.
yeah, so I'm thinking in the interface, you pick one episode, we take the XML for that item, that one item, and then we save that as just text in our DB.
How do you select XML for that one item?
We'll do that when we get the result back from Listen API,
Okay.
I think. Let's go to the Listen API. Listen Notes API.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That is a good API.
Yeah.
Where was the get started? The pricing the docs there. So when you search for something, do we get the full API back? The full XML back? That's what I'm wondering. If we're like,
I don't seem to remember that.
Full text search episode titles, and then the results looks like RSS. No, that was the RSS.
Okay, so it's just okay. I keep forgetting about this wonderful API. So
but it looks like we're just getting the parsed stuff. We're not
Yeah.
getting the original.
Which is good. That's what you want.
So then we might have to create the RSS feed ourselves.
But if you could create it like, because you can create it with Astro, right? But you can do operations on JSON, which is a lot more familiar than XML.
Yeah, instead of saving the whole XML, which was my idea.
I think this is good news.
She's singing in the background.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so let's generate then. So let's generate something that looks like this. So we'll take the
This is a hard work from home vibe though.
Yeah. We get the URL, but you have to turn. I cannot focus, Ola.
You don't like music?
Yes, I love music. Let's try to recreate whatever this is, and then we can generate something from that. So we have audio length in seconds. So instead of copy pasting all of this, we'll create a proper item, something we would get from Listen Notes.
Yeah.
So we have audio length in seconds. So if we go here to our slow and steady source, I am guessing that would be this, the length.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have where's the audio? So it's just called, no, that's audio. The link. Where's the actual MP3 here? Where is the
listen at your what about podcast? If you expand podcast,
I think that's the podcast that the episode is a part of.
as in like the show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, audio. Okay, because audio doesn't have the thing yet at the end. But I wonder.
But will we get the MP something then? Won't we just get the link?
Yeah, we get a link through to the MP3. So I'm wondering. Oh, this was a link to an MP3. It was just didn't have the extension.
Yeah.
So that's called audio. So for our slow and steady, that's this. Okay. So what more is the title? I think is required. And the title for this is not too many. No such thing as too many clips. It's the best title ever.
Good title.
Can never be too many YouTube clips at all. And then we have a description. So I'm just going to copy paste all of this. Okay, I think that is like the basics of what we would have. But why I was like thinking the other way is that we should keep everything that a episode has. So we're not kind of, if they have more information about their episode, we should kind of keep that. So we're not like removing people's information from their podcast. But we'll have to figure that out later. So title, description, audio, and audio length sec. So let's create an item array. So then we do playlist, items, map. I mean, you're not helping, Copilot. You're not helping. There we go. Have you noticed that Copilot always adds an extra parenthesis? It's a little annoying.
Is a Copilot or is a VS Code also adding something at the end?
Oh, maybe they're.
I find VS Code adding characters a bit hit and miss.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll do the title, which is then the title.
Publish date as well. I think is pub date is what needs to happen.
Yeah, and description is description. Title is title. Custom data. Description link. Yeah, we need a pub date. That's what you said. Where's the pub date?
I mean, oh no!
Oh, there
you
is.
don't know, AK, but Oline is a girl. I mean, it says here Oline has water cups. That is like red spots, isn't it? Red spots all over the place. What do you call it? Measles? No, that's deadly, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, it did go pretty horrific pretty quickly. I don't know about water cups. I don't know if I want to Google it. Do I?
No, don't do that. You'll just get some really dirty pictures.
Well, I got pictures of cups, so.
Oline used to be really small. Oh, look here!
Hey!
Hello! Hello, Justin King. How you doing?
Okay, so we have the audio, and the audio item should be. Where's the pub date? There's the.
Justin King didn't get a notification. Oh.
Oh, do you know what? I forgot to send out the email today also.
Yeah, you should get on the email list, Just Steve King. It is.
Yeah, but I forgot.
Great.
I forgot to send that as well. Oh well. Okay, I am trying. So I'm thinking. So we have the audio, and what it has to look like is. It's not an audio field, it's an enclosure. So how do we create an enclosure with this RSS generator? Because
never heard about
the title is the item title.
Enclosure.
Description.
I've heard about closures.
Because this is not correct. So we need to make an enclosure. Enclosure. Oh, maybe Copilot is correct.
Oh,
look who's here!
Let's try it out.
Look who's here!
Benedict. So everybody on Christmas vacation. I love to see you guys show up in the chat.
How are you doing? Congrats with the product hunting. Yeah. He's on holiday? You're joking. I thought he didn't do holidays.
Maybe he's doing post-launch holiday.
That's good. I like it.
The item property requires properly typed title and link. Oh, we are missing the link again. So let's just make a fake link again. Link.
Fake link.
No, because we get the link from the link is here. So for an item, what would the link be? Link. Okay. This is
when
there you go. So they all have links. That's fine. XML is interesting, but if that was my day job, I feel like I would either really get used to it and then never be able to speak to another human being again, or I would get very bored very quickly and I'd look for another job.
I had a summer job looking over XML to see that if it was correct. Invalid input. We have title, we have pub date, we have link. What is wrong? Maybe it's this enclosure thing. Let's try without and see if it likes us. No. So playlist items. We have items on both of them. We go through them.
Is it because the other one doesn't have anything?
I mean, doing an empty one works, or at least used to work, yes.
Yeah.
So is there something wrong with my map?
No, I'm not sure, but
no, I think it's correct.
If you go scroll up, or go back to how you should have saved it when it was good. Comment often, because I don't remember what happened and we can't rewind. So we have all of these. So is it because on the second item, playlist 2, you don't have the thing, or you have items in there as well?
Yeah, I don't think, because like if we did items and it's I'm putting it inside an array. I created an array inside of it.
Yes. Look, did you see that Benedict said it?
Thank you,
He said it the same time as you.
I mean, Benedict is a pretty good developer. That's all I gotta say.
Okay, I gotta say something about Benedict now, but
I'm not getting any items.
Here it says, well, we have some commercial pause now. Definitely congrats. It was a cool product. It's the visual something from Benedict.
The visual workflow builder, which looks slick, by the way.
It's to build emails.
And it works.
Congratulations on your non-specific product launch.
I'm gonna take it. We're gonna look at it.
User list has emails, and then you go in there and you build them visually.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
It's almost like AI, except with
but
people.
The thing is, lots of tools have this, and I hate these visual workflows because they never work, and I just get frustrated. I just want to do it with code.
Yeah.
But this one is beautiful. Beautiful.
But that's not the
you
point.
have a point though, AK, because we are on playlist 2, so we're not getting an error anymore, but we're not seeing the items because the items are on playlist 1. Look at
that! What was it, the array thing? Yeah.
So now we have something. Now, is this good enough to be a audio? Like, what is the minimal requirements for a podcast RSS feed? Let's see. Well, this is Apple Podcast though, so they want lots of things. It will respond to feed validation errors. But what are the absolute minimum? I know there's like a bunch that needs to be. We're not going to go through all of them. I think we're going to be happy with what we have, because we've been able to show that we can go to a URL for a specific playlist, and for that playlist we can generate a RSS feed based on whatever's in the database, which is kind of what I wanted to do today. And that we've been able to kind of prove that we can do.
Yeah.
And I said in the tweet announcing this is that this is the last kind of research voyage we've had. So after Christmas, we're going to actually make this. But we had one where we created a landing page and newsletter form. But then the kind of 2 real research things are like unknowns, where can we search for podcast episodes? And we figured out, yes, we can with the listen notes API. And the second one, can we generate RSS feeds? And we can, based on that information. We haven't checked that it's valid yet, so maybe we should go to that step.
Yeah, and also, how would self-publishing things work in Astro? Would you be able to kind of like, do they have like a little cloud where you can just publish your product to be able to test it on a device?
We are using Netlify, so we could we could push this to the cloud and actually test these links after. What I've basically done here is just create a dummy playlist with one episode from our Slow and Steady podcast, and we could see if this actually works in the podcast player.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking more of these are like, which ones of these do we think we need to have? Like, it's like I would like to know, like, what are the basic requirements of an
If
podcast.
You had the styling sheet, maybe it would be easier because you would then see like a nicely displayed page, and you'd be able to maybe see the player.
But we have a podcast episode.
Yeah,
we probably need
this. If you just want to run it locally, then you should have like a styling sheet. Just get any generic style sheet. Add it to the XML and then try to display in a browser. And if you want to not worry about the style sheet, you could deploy it and just test it with your phone.
Okay. Yeah, so we're getting lots of good input here. So Steve King says, yes, iTunes have their own weird requirements. And that's what we're seeing here with what Transistor has created. You have like iTunes episode, iTunes episode type, that are specific, iTunes author. So we have like these specific things for iTunes, and then you have to replicate it with podcast episode. So I think we're going to do that off stream and just go through all of this and make sure that we kind of fill in all of them.
Yeah, just Steve King said you need duration too.
Duration.
I feel like we just need a list we just need Steve King to join the stream. It'll get built in a day on like Chrome was.
Well, we have the duration on the enclosure because I don't see a duration here, but I put
the enclosure, right? Haven't you?
We put that duration on the enclosure.
You have to remove the enclosure.
Oh, we forgot the enclosure because I removed it because I thought it was wrong. Okay, let's add that thing back. Enclosure.
Good tip, just Steve King.
And I don't think we need to put the type because we don't know what type it is. Okay.
Oops.
So it doesn't like enclosure?
No. I don't like it either.
It says you can do custom data.
No one can contain me.
It says you can do custom data. What if we just do enclosure test?
Do you think like the data type is wrong for enclosure?
Yeah.
What do you think? Oh, what was that?
As soon as I add enclosure on there,
yeah,
it doesn't like me.
What happens if you just put duration then? Oh. Invalid element name.
It's probably this one. What is happening? Well, see, now we're back to maybe we can't just generate. Maybe we need to do our own like stuff to make it work.
Oh, look at this.
Works.
He's been playing with podcasts and RSS a lot.
I love that. You can absolutely come on a show when we start implementing this properly. But now I'm wondering, like, how can we? It says here that you can add custom data. Why can't I just add custom? So I'll add custom data test. Let's see if that works. Invalid element name. But isn't this what they're doing here?
Yeah.
Custom data?
Yeah. Actually. Is it because custom data has the wrong type? If you made it into an object, would it work?
Let's see. Custom data test.
Nope.
Valid or missing option. Title. This is really weird that I'm not allowed to add the custom data.
Why does it? Oh, Steve says he loves the new Astro docs. Are they new?
Yeah, I think they've done an update. Yeah, I didn't even.
It's before my time then, probably.
Everything is new to me, so I like
it. Okay, let's see if they say something about custom data. Assumes all RSS feed titles. Yeah, here we could add the style sheet that we were talking about. Items, site items. See Astro's RSS items documentation. Type reference. Custom data string.
Okay.
String of valid. Oh, here we have a string of valid XML to be injected between your feed description and item tag.
Okay. So it needs to be XML.
Benedict. Okay, I'm gonna read
sorry.
Benedict now.
There we have a custom data for the whole thing, but it does. So if we added just XML in here, then that should work. So this is where we might have to add the enclosure then, if we're not allowed to add the enclosure as a type or like as a property.
Benedict says oh, it worked?
Yeah. Benedict also said something about wrapping it in C data, which I think we removed at some point for splitting some tags.
Yeah, but it seems to be that I thought we could just like make anything we wanted here. So we like enclosure, and then if we added URL, it would kind of like add that. But obviously that didn't work. But if we did custom data and we just added XML, like the actual output we want, then it works. So that means that we could even do like we started about debating, is that we could take, if we get access to it, if somebody chooses a podcast episode and we have the RSS, we could probably then just save all of this and add it. Because we don't know what like some podcasts will add, like we have here, person and transcript links and stuff like that. So I don't want to have to like recreate all of it. But if we kind of grab the title maybe and the description and some of those like key pieces, and then we could just copy paste everything else and have it as like additional like raw XML.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll just save it all in our fake database. And then we could add that after the custom, after the enclosure, we could add the item raw XML. And then we would get all of the, there was something wrong, but we could have added all of them.
Is it with the, is it wrapping it like Benedict said?
Yeah, maybe. Well, here we already have the C data thing. This is just raw XML.
Yeah. I wonder if it's just like the XML is not formatted how it needs to be or something. If you didn't have the raw data and you went back a step, to where you have the enclosure, do you want to like, because we've got 2 minutes, do you want to finish on a high and add a slash in your browser, or do you want to just wrap up?
I think we're going to wrap up because I think this is enough, because now I know, okay, and this is kind of annoying though, but because I was hoping we could do it, not annoying, but that's, I guess, how it's done, because I'm guessing this is how we will add those iTunes ones as well. Yeah. So if we wanted this kind of iTunes episode or podcast episode, I think we would have to add those as well as just custom data. And then we could, like, if we say this is episode, I'm going to remove the raw data again so we can have a proper summary. Ooh. And then we'll do episode 192, because then we could add those in here.
Mm-hmm.
Item. Ooh. Episode. What did I call it? Episode? Now I'm getting tired. Episode. Just episode. Yep. And then we'd have to just like regenerate it there. And that's how we could add these like weirdly formatted ones. I was hoping we could just do it all as like JavaScript objects, but I guess that's not how we do it.
Well, at least you've got something.
I am gonna, why is this not working? It was working. There we go. And then, why is this not working?
Could you use Astro content?
Namespace prefix iTunes on an episode is not defined. Oh, lovely.
It's because it's not in iTunes.
No, it's because the XML format, there's something wrong with that. Okay, so we're landing on something we need to figure out, because it doesn't, it doesn't let us. It could be what Benedict was saying, that we're getting like we need to like escape these things or something like that.
But didn't it say that we only needed 3 things or something?
Yes, but that is for like if we were just doing this for blog post, that's all you need. You need a title, a link, and a description.
Okay.
But since we need to create podcast versions of the RSS, then we need to add a lot more of these. So I'm thinking like this is a good start, but I'm thinking maybe we need to find if there's like a podcast package that would help us just generate all of the stuff that podcasts need, or we'll have to go through and make sure that we get to add all of the custom data that we need to do.
We can look at this thing, not now, but later, that just Steve King.
Oh, I have an example of that if people want to see that. Because I have a working RSS feed for the semantic advent that I use to generate the emails. So yeah, that looks, so if you have, so why we're like going roundabout is because we're going to be fetching these playlists from a database. So that's why we have this like fake database here, because we haven't chosen a database yet. And then since we're creating a podcast feed, it has a little bit of like special needs. While if you had everything as a collection or as data that was readily available, like here I'm getting the data from GitHub, and you map through them and you have a link, a title, the content, the publish date, and author, and it's like boom, it's done. So that's what we have to look through. And now Steve King is saying that you also have a channel that has episodes. So I think maybe that's what's wrong. Like we need to add this like channel part in here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm guessing we don't. Well, yeah, we have a channel, so that's fine. And then you have item. But I don't know how to add these like iTunes : and I think it's a formatting issue, like Benedict said.
Do you think you would know where to look?
Where we can look to figure
no,
this out?
he says that it's channel and then episodes where we go straight to item.
Let's see. Okay, and this is the feed from Transistor, which is where we host Slow and Steady. It has channel. And it goes straight on item, which is the episode.
Oh, okay.
So I think just the problem here is that, okay, iTunes has a colon in there. I think like we need to do some escaping, like Benedict was mentioning, or like we need to figure out how to get this data in there so it's parsed correctly. It's always formatting, guys. It's always formatting. So like
Sweet. Let's get good at XML formatting.
What were you saying?
Yeah. Let's get good at XML formatting because that's what we need in our lives the most.
That's what we need to know.
Yes.
If I can't figure out a way to just save the blob and like output the blob and everybody be happy. Yeah. Okay, but we can summarize because we've gotten quite far. We managed to get the enclosure in there.
Here comes the list.
Here comes the list.
We must do what, why, how first.
Yes.
So we have an RSS feed, don't we?
Now we have an RSS feed for the playlist in our fake playlist.
Yes, great.
Database. Yes.
And why do you want it?
We want it because in Mixpod, you shall go and pick episodes from different podcasts and make a playlist out of those different episodes. And it becomes a podcast feed in it on of itself. So we created a fake database here with 2 playlists, one that has no episode because nobody's picked any episodes yet, and the other one has 1 episode. And then we wanted to generate an RSS feed for these playlists so that people can subscribe to this playlist or Mixpod of episodes. And how we did that is we started by using the RSS package from Astro, the Astro JS RSS. And from the params, like, so there's a context object that gets sent into this endpoint function, and we've created a a folder here that's called playlist ID in square brackets. So whatever's inside the square brackets is then available to us as a param in this context object. So if we go to our ready example, it's very small, but in here it says playlist 1. So when we go to this URL, the param's playlist ID is playlist 1. And we grab that playlist from our fake DB. So this will be code that talks to our database later on. And then we generate the RSS feed for that playlist. So we take the playlist title, the playlist description. We just skip the site for now. And then for each item in the playlist, we're trying to create podcast feed valid items. One of the things I know it needs to have, like I think all RSS items need title and description and link. No, title, link, and pub date, and then description I think is optional. But for a podcast, it also needs this enclosure data here that is actually the link to the audio file itself. And then we see in our SOAR, or in our kind of inspiration here, the RSS given to us from Transistor for a podcast has a lot of extra stuff. And we're a little unsure how we can add all of these into the XML, because we had some form string issues, we think. Like, yes.
But is that what we're doing next time, or we're doing something else?
I think we're gonna figure that. We need to play a little bit on our own, and then we are back on the first Saturday in 2024.
Whoa! What?
I'm not ready for this. 6th of January, I think it is.
Oh, good.
And we'll figure this out, and then we're gonna start building Mixpod for real.
Oh yeah.
Because now we kind of just like played to see, okay, do the pieces we don't know nothing about. Will it work? And I'm pretty confident we'll make this RSS feed work. It's just like we need to do a little bit of behind the scenes work to figure that out. And if not, we're going to do a new episode on that to figure that out if I can't figure it out. But then in January, in the 2024, 6th of January, we're going to start building it out. And then we're going to try to have a little bit more of a plan, okay, but like what features are we building and in what order are we building it in, and what data models do we need?
There too now. Having a plan. Oof.
No, but I like to start out like that, because like there's no point in making a more specific plan over the features if none of this worked. Like then we could have just scrapped the idea. So now that we kind of we have a feel that yes, we're going to make these pieces work and we're going to make them work in Astro, then we can like move more into like, you know, the specific of what we're making is going to work, if that makes sense. So then we'll have to go back to our user stories here, and
in the dreamland of future ideas.
And we're not going to do any of this. But we're going to work through these. And then Ola and I had a really interesting talk to Dan. What was his last name again, Ola? Do you remember? Silverman? Sterling? Benedict knows who I'm talking
something
about.
Man. Yeah.
Something
about how to get data models right. And he had a really good activity that I thought maybe we'd do that in that one episode. We'll do some prep, but then in that episode, we'll like have a look at the data models we need. And there he said, yes, let's look at the future IDs and just make sure that whatever data model or plan we come up with will not block the future IDs, but we're not going to like map them fully out, but like peek into the future so we don't like code ourselves into a corner that we can't get out of.
I'm Friday.
Yeah. Dan Singerman.
Dan
He is a singer man. He sings. And that reminds me, where's my song? I had the song here. Oh no.
So see you in the new year. I can't believe it's going to be 2024. And if you can make it to Oslo, you are so welcome to join me for my 40+1 birthday on 13th of January. It's going to be a big, can I say that, like big ass party?
Yeah, you can.
We're going to have so much fun. You wanna?
Okay, let's do it. Lilian.
Yes. And hello, Stefan.
Oh, look, it's him again. Hello. You were there last time too. Yeah, I'm not going to out you, but are you Stefan Schott on Twitter? You don't have to answer it. You don't have to answer it.
Not that we're stalking our audience at all.
No, never do it. Okay, är du klar, Lilian?
Oh, I would.
Nej,
Wait,
inte
2 seconds, Ola. Yes, I would love to. I have done no work on beauty transitions, so that's gonna be super fun.
Ska jag begynne nå?
Ja. 1, 2, 3. It's been a mixed pod treasure hunt about RSS Feeds and with AK Queen Raae and the Prior Princess Lilian. See you all next year.
Oh yeah!
Yoo-hoo!
Am I ending? Okay, I'm ending.